so
very
excited.
scary.
I can't even stand myself. I wish we were in the same room together.
I don't know if you do, but you know how we are when we get together, Terry. We get a little crazy.
Well,
We
this
have
is
a tendency to get louder. We both feed off each other's energy. So
exactly. And you know what? This is a two-parter. So we're probably going to do a half hour. They'll edit it and have a part one and part two because people can't get enough of you.
did you say a two-farter or a
No,
two-parter?
Stephanie, of course I didn't say that. Stop it. Oh, see, already we're shocking the audience. So anyway, this is going to be a two-parter.
Okay.
Tell me, people have missed you and the world, you know, this last year and a half. How did you navigate, Steph? How did you navigate?
Well, I first off want to thank you for that. I've missed everybody. You know, I'm kind of a circus clown. I travel with the circus all over the world, and I was I had taken the first 9 weeks of 2020, and for 21 9 days, I was in Europe in like 9 different countries. I followed everywhere I went. The next city I went to, the prior city had closed down. So I felt like, am
You
I
were
good? You know, when I got back to the US, I was safe, sound, and I just needed a little time to settle. I never really imagined what COVID would bring me, but what it brought me, the first thing was to get in touch with myself, Terry. What happened was it was the first time in 27 years my airplane career was grounded. I don't know how many times I have flown around the sun in 27 years, but I would say a few for sure. So I got to figure out how to have a life, how to live in an apartment I hadn't lived in. And since I moved out, you know, what I love about where I live, it's close to everything. I have a washer, dryer, a closet, a bathtub, a shower, and room for all my stuff. But it was just a place I stored my things. And through 2020, it became to define who I am and what I was looking for. So, you know, Paul Mitchell, we have a 4-part system. I've lived through it my whole life. We cleanse, we condition, we style, and we finish. So for me, I got busy cleaning. And, you know, Terry, we're from the same kind of family where every Saturday the Elvis music went on and you got busy with the vacuum.
yes,
The
until
cleanser.
the general released you. Yes.
So I got cleaning. I got to clean out my mind, my house, and I got rid of what didn't bring me joy. And then I looked at what I needed to do to condition myself. So I got walking at the ocean. I got walking around the block. And then I got walking into a private gym where I was able to put some conditioning back, not only in my bleach blonde hair, but in my body. And then to follow the third part, it was style. So how was I gonna meet this new navigation of work where I'm coming over the computer screen? You know, I got a sleek little computer so I would be cute on the airplane. I never believed it would be my only contact somewhat to the outside world. So I had to get educated. I had to understand what lighting meant. Like, you know, I'm kind of spoiled. I just used to walk onto a set. Now I got to create the set. I got to light it. I got to whatever it.
So how's our set today?
I think you're pretty sexy. I
We've
know
got
where
a
you're
good
at.
set, don't we?
I think you've got an awesome setup. And then the last thing I did, Terry, was I decided how I wanted to end up on the other side. I wanted to take advantage of time because it's the first time I've ever valued time so much.
Wow.
I got to sort out what I wanted for myself, for my life, and dream a little dream. And then little by little, everything started to turn on. The salon started to turn on. My boogie boarding career turned on during the summer. And then little by little, work started to come back, but it's not normal. It's a new adventure. So
But
trying to,
California had they had it worse than anyone else.
well, Canada is really coming in strong
Sure.
right now. Canada's not open again until July 2nd. But we in Cali, we're back, and on the 15th, we have some sort of update of what we can or cannot do. But it made me focus on my salon career. It made me focus on my key customer relationship career at Paul Mitchell and define the relationships I wanted to be in and make them bigger, better, and more exciting. So I think, what did I learn? I learned I can do anything. I always knew that. I had to come back to some best practices in my life. And I had to remember of who I was to the people that pay to be in my chair. Um,
I
and
love that. Well,
represent
I
myself.
want to talk about your journey because there's so many people, and I can speak to the professional hairdresser, the established one, and I can also speak to the future professionals. I mean, you have such a fan base, and so many people want to be you, but I want them to understand the journey that created you. And you started working at what age?
I started working at 12 years old,
Me
Terry.
too. I was a bus girl. What were you?
I was a chambermaid at a hotel by the beach in New Jersey. I'm kind of the female version of Rocky Balboa, coming from the city of Philadelphia.
But
Uh,
Steph, I used to love when we talked about this before, so I have a little cheat sheet that I can use. But I used to love when you would talk about your boss would say, once you're done, right? And so what kind of in your mind you made it a game at the motel, right?
I mean, it was a way. I'm very fortunate for the people that come into my scope. If I've ever had a boss, a supervisor, a manager, they've always, I don't know, understood how to speak Stephanie. People from Philadelphia, New Jersey, we're all very colorful. You've met them. Um, and yet we have a way to speak, we have a way to work. But as a young kid, I mean, I was 5'7" in kindergarten, Terry. I was a giant, everything was too small. The chairs, the room, people would walk into the kindergarten and say, uh, my teacher was called Patricia Wright. So they would say, Mrs. Wright. And I was like, no, I'm just a 7-year-old kid help me, get me out of here. So like, coming from a journey of people that, a lot of people that I grew up around, English was maybe their second language. So there was a lot of language, a lot of like, you could make up a word. I'm thankful for that. I make up words all the
Every
time.
day, every second, yeah.
But the journey was about just doing. And I found people that showed me how to do things in a system. And yet I would do it. But yet in a hotel, you're either cleaning the room around people or you're cleaning the room when people aren't there. So when they're not there, you just kind of do your deal and you get out and you leave a mint on their pillow or whatever it was. But if they were there, it was like, you had to entertain grandma, you had to talk to people. So I've always had that kind of yap. We were kids in the city, so you take the bus, you take the elevated train, you take the trolley, you got to talk to people because they're all staring at you because you're bigger than them. So I always had to find a way to fit in. And also I came from a kind of a chaotic family. So I deal with chaos well.
So,
And
so then you decided, so you were 12 and other people you worked with would take twice the time to do the same job you did, but you wanted to get it done and get out and enjoy life, right?
get to the beach and have fun and go be a kid, but I needed some cash and I saved by cleaning people's hotel rooms. One summer I made enough money to go to beauty school. So
Well, how'd
that
you
was
make
it.
the decision to go to beauty school? How was that on your radar?
I'm a kid of the 60s. So mom every Saturday and grandmom, if she was at the house, they'd go to the salon and they dumped me and my sister at ballet school. Like, really, you've seen me. Does it help? I don't think so. But we'd come back and we'd have to wait on them because they'd be under the hood dryer asleep. But yet the salon was like Disneyland to me. There was all the rollers, and I just started like to go help because like it was messy. So I had to clean the rollers. I had to get all the pins and organize it. Then I found the back room with all the hair color and the wigs and the this. And I was like, what do you do with that? She's like, well, we need to brush it out and clean it. I go, how do you clean it? And she's like, we throw it in that bowl and whisk it around. I'm like this, so I was cleaning things. I was holding pins, whatever. The hairdressers always made me feel good. My mom's hairdresser, I don't know, 12, 13, what do you call it? Girl Scouts. What uniform fits a 5'7", like third or fourth grader or whatever, I kind of was like a bit of a giant. My mom's hairdresser made me a Girl Scout uniform. So she made me fit in, gave me a good haircut, because I have a picture of me in my next door neighbor's wedding. I looked like Endora from Bewitched with this big old hairdo. But she gave me a great haircut. And I just always felt like a hairdresser connected with me.
So you felt home in a salon.
Oh my God, yeah. Because, it was way before MTV, but every 3 or 4 minutes, something changed. And I have the attention span of a gnat, that. If something's shiny, I forget where I'm at and I'll turn my head, So to me, it was a fitting place, and you had traffic that you could talk about. You had weird products that, professional hair care was just coming on board at that time. So I can remember my mom used to go and get a hair done. And, for shampoo, we would just buy something out of the market. And then when my mom got transitioned from the wash and set, she went into hair care. Our whole family has crap hair, except for the other cousins who have this curly and just thick, luxurious hair. I always told them if they're not nice to me, I'm going to like crawl into their house and shave their heads. I never did though, Terri. I never did. But my mom brought home hair care for the first time. And I can remember like, playing with it, shampooing my hair and like reading it while I was taking a bath because it was new, it was so new. So I kind of got introduced to the modern salon when I was a kid through my mom, and she would take us to go get our hair done. So
beauty school, Steph, beauty school for you. Good experience?
Awesome experience. I shopped around like I always do. I went to like the best one in the kind of fancy area of town. Lady interviewed me in the dispensary on a washer. She was like folding towels, interviewing me. And you know me, Terri, I don't keep my mouth stuffed. So I said, Mom, I took my mom with me. I go, Mom, we're out. She goes, why? I go, my future isn't here on a washer, and she's like, no, listen to the lady. I go, no, I don't want to. That's not what I see for myself.
Good.
And then at night, there was a TV. We used to have cable, and at 12 o'clock on channel 17, I think it was the best spot. An ad would come up and it said train with the masters, and it was people throwing cap and gowns in the air, not in the ear. And it was an advertisement for a beauty school. And after I graduated high school, I bounced to California because I didn't know what I was going to do. And then I called my mom up one day and I said, listen, go see what it takes for me. Go watch the TV program. Go see what it takes for me to sign up. And if it's a go, I'm going to come home and go to beauty school, Mom. Because I ended up working for the Supercuts, salons in California as a reservationist. So I got to watch people do hair. I learned a lot from Supercuts. They had a system of how many hairdressers you had on. You would just stack the tickets. And when that row got done, you knew you had to wait another 25 minutes. So you were able to plan the traffic for the business. And to me, that was awesome. Plus, I got to do product displays. They sold Paul Mitchell, so I got to understand what the conditioner was. It was awesome. But what I learned mostly there was pace and traffic and booking. We didn't have a POS system. POS system was a pencil. That was it. So little by little, I made my way. I went to Gordon Phillips School of Beauty Culture, had a killer core teacher named was Luba, just set the foundation so strong. She used to call me Monster, and I loved it. Had another teacher, Diane Jelnicki. You know, all of these are characters like from the movie Hairspray, you know, but these women knew what they were doing. It was a phenomenal experience. Very similar to the way that we at Paul Mitchell, the school, have a core adaptive and creative. It was a fantastic beauty college. And actually, one of them has transitioned into a Paul Mitchell school in Philadelphia. So
Oh, how
I
nice.
kind of feel good about it. But it was a fantastic experience.
So you
Um,
graduated, and where did you go then?
I graduated from school and then I worked in a department store in downtown Philadelphia called John Wanamaker's. John Wanamaker's is one of the first high-end department stores in Philly. 9 floors of everything. They had a eye doctor. They had
Wow,
a street salon, a big like red door salon. They had a post office, they had a shoemaker, they had a doctor. I mean,
they had
that
everything.
store was amazing. And I got to work in there and really understand what I wanted. And then I bought a car, came to California, worked in the Olympics, went to a hair show, met a guy that told me when I'm bored, call me. Thank you, Stephen Brooks. I called him. I wasn't really bored. I thought I could have a date for the weekend with Stephen, but it didn't work out that way. But Mr. Brooks put me in a course, and there I met Paul Mitchell, who I had also met in my beauty school doing a show. I helped, I smiled. I went to another class with Paul Mitchell. It was when Paul Mitchell was a trainer for a hair care company, and uh, and that's it. And that was 1985, and here I am today.
But Steph, don't make it sound too easy.
Oh, it was not easy. I mean, you know, Biggie Smalls has a song like it was all a dream. Uh it was finding what I wanted, and like Paul Mitchell at the time as a manufacturer was brand new. So help, yes. You got to watch people do stuff, so you got to learn at a hair show. It was it was work. I mean, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, going doing like 100 models to get them ready before a show, working 14 hours on stage, burning in the lights. But man, I wouldn't want it to be anywhere else. The opportunity from a little hard work, it taught me how to navigate. It taught me how to not just be a hairdresser, but form awesome relationships, help the sales team with the artist words or the artist way so that they would be able to grow salons. It started educating in salons, and then it went to art, educating on stage. Uh, it was a green light. It was a green light for 35 years. And then I got a little knock on the shoulder from John Paul, and he goes, "We want to talk to you." And I was like, "Oh shit, here it comes." What did I
What did
do?
I do now? Yeah.
And it was weird. It was in the back of a distributor meeting in Hawaii. There were 4 chairs: Luke Jacobellis, John Paul, Kristen Farrell, and we all sat where our knees touched. And John Paul was directly across from us. He goes, "You've been doing good." Uh, Kristen brought to our attention, and I got to be in charge of education, shows, and events. And then that was awesome, but it was an office job. I was traveling, working in an office, and I just turned into Shrek. I was just all on the job. And then I just, you know, I would drive back to, I moved to LA, I would drive back to San Diego. And then I was like, what's going on? And then I just said, hey, listen, if there's another job you think I could do for the corporation, I'm in. Then, you know, and then it happened. I moved back to San Diego, and here I sit today, Teresa.
Well, what I think about you, and you know, this isn't me trying to suck up to you. I want people to hear how other people perceive you. And I'm going to look at you as as a mentor, but as a trainer, but all the things that have captivated me about you. And I wish these things were easily taught. They're not. Your pay attention factor to where you are and what's going on around you is absolutely amazing. I mean, I've always watched you, and I've enjoyed just watching you and being a study of you, but watching you run a back room and making sure that the energy of the models, the artists, that we're creating this connection that's untouchable. That's such a strength of yours. Now, I'm not talking about the technical side of your work because that's brilliant. I'm talking about your ability to really connect with people. Everyone has a memory with you, and that's what's really powerful. The other thing that I can tell you is the first time I was at a Robert Croming salon, and I was just watching for a day, and I teach this from the stage all the time. There was a wedding party. You remember this day?
Yep.
And I just said, I just want to watch her in action. And you had a couple of assistants that were holding pins for you. And I scolded those girls afterwards. I said, do you know who you're assisting? Number one. Number two, you have to match her energy. And you have to match her enthusiasm about the craft. You look miserable holding pins and holding hair for her. And I seriously could have that same conversation everywhere I go. Right?
I agree.
So how do we teach people to absolutely radiate their love for what they're doing?
I think when you think about that, we had very high benchmarks to fulfill. Paul Mitchell, Gene Bra. At that time, Trevor Sorby was a huge influence. Irvin and Rita Rusk, huge influences. Sassoons, of course, Stephen Moody, huge influence. So there were benchmarks of people, and there wasn't Instagram, Snap Chisel, and TikTok, you don't stop. None of that was around. You had to go find these people, and they had a specific energy. And, you talk about my awareness of what's going on and how to handle energy. That just comes from growing up in the city. You walk down the wrong block, you better walk fast. You better make sure people are with you.
Yes.
But you can't walk around like no meek kid because you're going to get kicked. You got to keep your head up. I think matching the energy. I think some people are in it as rising stars, and the more someone gives me, the more I got to give back. Plus, when you have one chance, you got one chance to make somebody's life. You got to improve them. Little gentleman that used to work for you, Tyler, right? Very petite young man, long hair. And like, he wasn't on one of those Dynasty love cover books, but I had somebody cornrow his hair and I kept on calling him Snoop because he's snooping around at what needs to be done, but he never gave himself the permission to be that person. So the braids gave him a bit of street cred, and yet homie was all over the place, and his name was no longer Tyler, it's Snoop. And I know Snoop changed. Another beautiful individual I met on your clinic classroom, they were the color technician for a day at the Chicago school, Cray. Cray was having a day for sure. Lots of color, lots of everything. And I saw him, having a little, I'm like, Crayon, let's go. And I'm still in contact with Crayon because when you notice someone that's trying to be noticed so bad or wants something so bad, I know that feeling, I always tell my God kids, no matter what happens, I got you. And it's the same thing, like in a model room. Yeah, I've had hair fall out. Sure. I've had models cry. Yeah, I've had a girl fall off the stage because she dozed off, hurt her leg. Yes, yes, yes. But there's always Are you going to go down with the ship, or are you going to go to the top deck and sing? It's always about the show has to go on, the energy has to go on. Um, it wasn't easy walking up to strangers in the streets of New York City and telling them, I'm going to dress you like a hooker. I'm going to cut your hair. I'm going to color you. You're going to wear makeup. You're not going to notice yourself, but I guarantee this weekend will change your life. And then meeting these people years later that worked as a hotel reservationist, and I go to check in and they're like, Steph, how you doing? I'm like, how do they know me? You have to make everything a memorable experience. And to me, like that day in the salon, if I don't bring that energy, that was the guest's wedding day. I can't even imagine what I would be like on my wedding day. But I have the chance to make or break her day. I am going to make it. I'm going to carry her to the car. I want to know about her dress. I want to know about her makeup. I want to know about her shoes. What's her vows? How's her first kiss feeling? As a married lady, I want to know all about that because I want to keep her as a guest, and I want her to look and feel so fantastic. Not everybody's as beautiful as Cinderella, so you got to take the stepsister and turn them into Cinderella. And whether or not that person at my side is with me, a lot of people don't want to put themselves out there as much. So how do we train it? If you want it, you got to jump in and feel it. And
the thing that we've talked about over the years is, and it's not like I called you last week and was in a toot, remember? And you said, well, Teresa, you are in it something today. And I said, yes, I hate everything. I'm sick of me. I'm sick of everything. And I was ready to take the mask and hit someone in the head with it. But when we look at it, there's things that you and I don't say. We don't say we're overwhelmed. We don't say excuses. You've got to look at what can I turn into either a memorable experience, or what can I learn from this situation? The worst thing someone can say to me is the word no, or you can't do that. Oh yeah, okay, now watch, right? So when you look at where have the no's been in your life, because I would venture to say there haven't been that many.
I think the one word that comes to mind, I just give myself permission. I'm a strange looking individual no matter where I go. Like people at the gym, they just walk by me and they're like, because they don't, if I have a bandana on, they're like, is that Hulk Hogan with red lipstick? Like they don't know what's happening.
Oh my God, I get my coffee.
But permission is one of my favorite words. I've been invited due to our connections at a Robert Cromines salon in Vegas to do the hair for the trophy girls that are going to be on and off stage at MTV. Okay. They put me in the green room. Wrong thing. Everybody that walked through the green room was my guest. And then, something worse was I smuggled Cromines backstage. And I'm like, okay. So he's like, Miss LaBelle, a little. So he was the barker at the door. So we got to hang out with these celebrities and like spray their hair, staple gun Snoop Dogg, and just I gave myself the permission to go in. A lot of people have said no. And you know what? Awesome. But that's because of their limitations. No to me is like, if somebody tells me no, depends on who that person is. John Paul DeJoria tells me no, I'm listening. Angus Mitchell, I'm listening. Cromines, I'm listening. They are my family, they're people that I've been with for 30 plus years. Mm-hmm. And man, we have seen some things together, let's just say. But if someone that I might not have the utmost respect for, maybe their behavior or what I witness.
Decision making, yeah.
Yeah, I give myself permission to put it in neutral. Everything to me is about driving from Jersey, so you drive a lot. Uh, Permission to kind of sit, assess, and then decide if I'm going to go to second or if I'm going to just go right to fifth gear. And most of the time, it was fifth gear. The show
Steph,
must go on.
there's things about you that I marvel at. 4 a.m. is the same Stephanie as midnight or 2 a.m. I can't say that about myself. I mean, we traveled together and multiple times, and you'll say, Teresa. I mean, no one calls me that. Maybe you and Steve. And I'll say, shut up. I'm not ready to be in the day yet. Just give me a minute. Because you hit the ground ready to perform all the time. And we're getting older, but you still run circles around people, half your age.
Well, age is hell. Age is something, I think like one day during the COVID times, I woke up and my alarm clock said, "You're 57." And I was like, I just thought I was 29. And
Yes, what happened? Exactly. What happened? But you know what, Steph, even when you're in the salon now, how many days are you working behind the chair?
Because of the California regulation, we can do one guest at a time. So I do about 4 guests a day, and I come in 2 days a month. So I accommodate what I used to accommodate in a day, in 2 days. And then if there's the one-offs, like Friday afternoon, I'm jumping in the salon. A guy came in, his brother knows me from another salon of some sorts. He's having a baby and he wants his haircut. He hasn't had his haircut in a year. So he made a reservation and I'm like, yeah, I'll come in for a new dad. Why not? Cause that's a benchmark in someone's life. He's going to remember what he looked like. He's going to remember what the experience was. It's unusual for a man to come in for a consultation, but he came for a consultation and I sold him 2 bottles of product because that's what we do. And then on the replay, I'll see him Friday afternoon at 4:30 for I'm going to be a dad haircut. So for me, like, that's going to be an experience because I've never had a baby, but I've been around newborns since they've come out of the womb, and you don't sleep, you don't eat, you don't. So that Sex in the Sinky, that wash house experience, it's going to be a memorable one, Terri.
Please don't go any further into detail. So when you take a look at the generation that we're still trying to help, right? How are we going to help them stay connected when we're competing against technology? How are we going to do that, Steph? Because the people skills, the social skills have been so tested and put at risk. And I know everyone's probably saying, Terri, get off the bandwagon on this. But when you are a human service business, I can't put that on the back burner. I have to continually fight for people to understand that if you're not strong socially, it's going to hurt you professionally.
Well, I feel like, I work in our schools. I've got, when somebody say, oh, because I wasn't traveling, I got put to work at the schools to work on some projects. And right away, I'm sure the school's like, oh, what's going on with this one? But I got to work in an area called professional development. So currently I'm rewriting Guide 5, which is the clinic classroom. So to me, kids on a phone might be looking at gourmet food. They might be looking at a backdrop of somebody setting up something so that they can take a selfie. They're studying coffee. There's no excuse right now since 2007 when the iPhone came out. You've got everything you need to know right here. Whatever it is, you can just dial it up, my camera's inviting me to take a picture right now.
Hysterical.
Can't touch that damn phone these days, So the kids grew up with the iPhone. It's okay. Kids grew up connected to gaming and screening. So I've changed the way I look at things, which is what we have done forever. And instead of, you know, upgrading my words, so I've got to meet them where they are. So I know we have a product called AI. It's a hair recognition. It helps make recommendations. But I look at AI as actual intelligence. You have soft skills, which are your words, hard skills, which are your actions. You cut, color, blow dry hair. But that soft skill is a little different. So actual intelligence, I feel you've got to meet people where they are. There's a lot of people, kids that haven't talked to someone my age or my image. They sure as hell haven't met you with your image and customer service standard.
But
So,
but Steph, there's no presence. I mean,
okay, but
I've been in the school now. We can debate this.
I'm gonna.
I've been in the clinic classroom, and I always say to people, if Steph and I had this clinic classroom today, just the two of us, first of all, it would be a competition, game on, right? Number two, people would know that we were there. Our presence as their instructors would be obvious. All the guests would know who we were. And sometimes the work gets in the way of the connection.
Well, I feel that like using your actual intelligence, some people feel weird to speak to strangers unless it's a text. Maybe we start to look at, could there be a way that a future professional could connect through a digital consultation, calling them on Instagram to talk to people face to face before they come in. When you turn on your computer, there's a button that says on. You can't swipe anywhere without turning some sort of computer, iPad, iPatch, whatever it is. So what is the on? The on is setting the stage. The on is turning yourself on that day. When I get up, I'm like, whoa, get out sometimes I have to put lipstick on just to get in the shower to feel pretty, but like, what is on? And I think meeting the requirement of on the same way you would take a Barbicide certificate to understand how to sanitize, and everybody else has a different on button. Your on button doesn't come till 10:30, 11 o'clock. I'm good. So, I wake up on, I'm ready, So when I look about on, how can I turn them on? Paul Mitchell can turn anybody on. So looking at that, it's something as simple as, it's my new game. I bring a name tag and I give it to someone and I'm like, tell me what you love about yourself. Give yourself a name. So one girl goes, I love my dopeness. And I go, dopeness. I love that.
I don't even know what it is.
She's just dope, means she's awesome, dopeness. She always
dopeness. Okay. Yeah.
So Terri, you got to hang out a little bit, when I talk about that, I said, all right, dopeness, when I need you, I'm going to come get you today. So I had somebody who was like, I don't feel too good. So I'm like, who did I partner her up with? Dopeness. So, you cannot be in a room where somebody's laughing and not move right into that space, because you want to be entertained, you want to have fun, you want to laugh, and you want to add to it. I know you.
Yes.
So, looking at what the circuit is, there's many gyms that have a certain area where you go and you do this for 5 minutes or whatever, and then a bell rings and you move to the next circuit. What if we systemize people with ways to interact? That's kind of what I'm working on right now. What if we use technology? I've been working secretly on the clinic classroom, I just have them introduce me as Stephanie. If they know me, they know me. But with a mask, and no glasses, you might not know me, and I worked with another gentleman that works with us at Paul Mitchell. His name's David Stanko. David is a colorist by trade, hairdresser, but color is his passion. He's a formulator, so half of him works for the chemistry lab, half of him works for education, so it's seamless. So he's coming out with me when I do some school visits. Uh, and we played on the clinic classroom, and he's like, concave layers, aisle two, like,
I love that.
So did we forget to turn that generation on?
Okay.
People want to be at a hair show, but what are they going to walk up with doo-doo face on stage? No, you got to snap that stage or you can't capture that audience. We know people walking by will give you about 12 seconds to 2 minutes to decide. It's like when you go through your Instagram feed, there's somebody that's like, I want to talk. I'm like, you didn't get me at hello. So there's
so
that.
What captures you? So like, let's say you walk into a school. What's going to get your attention?